Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and I have a cast member from the indie film Samhain on the phone. He played Benjy Turner. His name is Tyler Ebert. Hello, Tyler. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Scotty. How about yourself?
I am doing great. You are the last, I believe, interview I have of the Sound Crew. I had a couple scheduled this week, and only a few of them panned out the way I would like. Some of them were gotta get postponed, but hopefully we'll get them on in the future. So I got a couple questions for you. The first one I have is, what made you want to audition for the role of Benjy Turner?
I actually did not want to originally audition for Benji. Benji was not my original audition. I believe my original audition was for Will.
Cameron. It was either Will or Cameron.
I think it was Will.
It might have been Will, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started with I started the audition with Will. That one went okay. It wasn't the best. And then Scotty walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, would you want to try two other characters here that we have?" And I was like, yeah, sure. Let's give it a shot. So he hands me the script for Cameron next. I did that one again. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad, you know.
Right.
Then I get the script for Benji. I was reading this, and it was in intervals between my three auditions. I got a little bit ahead, and I read up, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is me. I'm seriously playing myself in this one. All right, let's go."
Yeah.
So I did that, and that audition went amazing. You know, everybody loved it. Everybody who saw it loved it. You know, but at first, I was actually kind of hesitant. At first, you know, I was like,
Right.
yeah, like everyone loved it, but like it was just that fear in the back of my mind of like, what if I just didn't make the cut? You know, like that would have sucked.
Yeah.
But so we went home that day, and I was eagerly waiting a phone call. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting down in my room playing Forza Horizon, I think it was.
Right.
I was playing at the time. I get the phone call from Scott, and he says, "Hey, I know you auditioned for us. We actually really liked your role for Benji, and would you want to play with us?" And that sounded weird. Yeah, my apologies for that. Would you want to come and play this character for us? And I was excited. I was so ecstatic. I was like, yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's awesome.
And I didn't know this at first, but Scotty actually called my mother before me and said, "Hey, we actually want him to play as Benji." And so then he calls me. I run downstairs to tell Mom that I got the part, right? She looks at me and she says, "Congratulations, Benji." I'm like, "What? How do you already know?"
And it's funny because I called your mom first because I was actually calling her on behalf of your two little sisters who auditioned for the Trick or Treat kids that had the dialogue in the movie. And
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. And then your mom asked, "Hey, can I ask about Tyler?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess, but just don't tell him he's got Benji." She's like, "Oh, he's gonna be so happy."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was actually a really, really good experience.
Yes, that's awesome. So can you describe your character of Benji and what makes the character unique to the film?
My character is this sort of sarcastic jokester. The type of character that thinks he's too hip. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the reason why I think it's a unique character to the film is because it's like that one friend that everybody has in their group. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like every group of friend has that sarcastic, joking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I feel like it was a really good way to connect with pretty much everybody.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
Like everybody sees this character and they automatically think, "Hey, that reminds me of somebody I know." You know what I'm saying?
Right. And like you do some like really like dickheaded.
So I do some messed up crap in this film.
So
Holy crap.
the movie hasn't obviously been released to the public, but we did have our movie premiere. So any death threats yet?
No. Instead, I'm getting the exact opposite.
That's awesome.
Like somebody even like, oh, dude, well, how did it go? So I'm going home with a family friend of mine, right?
Okay.
From the theater at the premiere, right?
Yeah.
They're talking to me about what their thoughts on the film, and they were talking to me about it.
Mm-hmm.
And this one guy's like, "Oh, what are you talking about? You get to go home with the star." Well, you know, I didn't hear it at first, and then my friend told me about it, and I was just like, "Wow,
Nice.
wait, what?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, this guy thinks I'm the star of the film. Yeah, that's awesome.
That is awesome, and it's funny because when I was writing the film for when it was a web series, and even up to before we even casted you, the main nerds were really Jason and Jordan. They were the big wigs of the nerds, and Benji and Paul were just kind of background. But
Yeah.
as we started filming and everything, Benji became the sidekick, so to speak, of the nerds with Jordan and Jason and Paul. Like, it's not that they're background; they still got equal say and everything, but they're just not as I guess known or noticed by everybody else. Like, they're not the two main of the nerds.
Yeah.
Which they all have equal say, but as you can tell, there's more dialogue between Benji because he has more of a personality than the other characters. Like Jordan has that, like I want to be a leader. I'm a cliche nerd, want to be a leader, want to act all cool. And then there's Benji who's that sarcastic asshole. But then we have like Jason, like he might not have as much dialogue, yes, quite a bit, but he's more of the tough guy. Like he was the big wig when it came to the fight scenes coming with RelliK. That's where Yags came into play because he's so tall and so bulky that he fit that role. And then Shane obviously was the tech nerd and
like the wrecking ball of the group.
Yeah, exactly.
Always ready to pick up a fight.
Exactly. So there was a pretty big fight scene in the film where all four nerds end up taking on RelliK one at a time, and the first one up to bat was Benji. Can you tell everyone how that fight scene went and how it was choreographed?
Oh man. Okay, so I asked what scene we were doing next, and Gabby, the director, said we're doing a fight scene next. I'm like, oh, okay, let's go. And so they were like, all right, so we need to beat RelliK up somehow. And I was thinking, I was like, okay, so what would my first thing be here? Okay, I wouldn't like directly throw a punch at him, you know, because like he'd be expecting that. And so I was like, okay, so I'll charge him and I'll kick him. He won't be expecting that, right?
Right.
Like knock him down, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But so that was the first thing I wanted to do when I first thought about it. It's like, okay, so we're do that.
Mm-hmm.
But we needed more to that. We needed to add more spice, you know.
Right.
So Brett and I, we were taking a look around to see what we could do, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was an old tire swing that was still hung up, right? You know, kids probably put it there like 20-some years ago. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But, and then around there was like some rotting branches, right? Like pretty brittle stuff. You know, it'll break if you hit it off your hand.
Right.
And so Brett and I, we were clonking our heads together trying to figure out what to do.
Right.
And so we were like, okay, so I'll knock you down, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay. And I'll come back to this tire, okay?
Right.
and when you get back up, I'll hit you with it. And they're like, okay, sounds easy enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, then we decided, okay, we'll hit you with one of these branches, you know. Like if we're gonna make this look real, like I gotta really lay a beating on you.
Yes.
And I feel like that was actually really, really useful, you know, to use props that we just found in the woods.
Yeah,
you know?
and it worked out because that branch, like, it wasn't rigged. It wasn't made specifically for the scene. Like, when you hear that branch get broken off of Brett, that is real.
Shit hole ass branch.
And it broke.
And you know what? I think he actually got bruised.
I think his whole forearm started getting swollen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's a stuntman. He wanted to make it as real as possible. He didn't want to do any phony shit with the branches. Like he said, this is a real branch. It's thick. We need to make this sucker break. So you hit me as hard as you can. I don't care if I get bruised or what happens. You hit me as hard as you can.
Well, I don't think he exactly said that, but
you know what I mean? Like he wanted that branch to break. Like he wanted that branch to break.
And yeah, I even talked to him about it too. I was like, so if I actually hurt you there, I'm sorry. He's like, it's fine.
Yep.
But, and you know what? Going back to like the beginning of the question when you said that I was first up to bat, that's one of those things where it's like it kind of connected my character a bit more.
Right.
You know, one unique thing. It's like I'm like the jokester, scrappy dude.
Right. Yep.
And that's like one more thing that just kind of makes my character unique.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
And he would stand up for his friends like that.
Exactly. And it's funny because you were, I believe when you were cast you were 17 and like halfway into filming you turned 18.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So like you it's funny because like you were so young but you look a lot older and this role of Benji is meant for like a mid-20s, you know, type of character. Like all of us nerds are in our mid-20s to late 20s. And you were the youngest one out of all of us and you look like you fit in because you were so tall and you just looked like you were, you know, our age, which it worked perfectly. That's another reason why we liked you as Benji, because you matched the age.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Looking back to it and everything, like with especially with hair and makeup and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like big shout out.
Yep.
To Jill and Ash.
Yeah.
They're really, really accommodating for the makeup and all that. And, you know, I feel like that also really helped with masking my age.
Right, exactly. And we would like to bring them back for other film projects and everything, of course. But obviously, because like we spent like hours on hair and makeup because it was just them two, and sometimes we needed to get 6, 7, 8 people at the done in hair and makeup. So that, so we would like to have them back, but we also would like to include other people to help them out as well, kind of recruit people to help them out. Maybe they can do the styling and somebody else can do the shaving of the facial hair and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to do that. Let's see, where are we at? So what was the best part about filming Samhain and what was the worst?
Oh man, best parts? The best parts were every time I was on set. No. I think the best part was when we were trying to find like a spray bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. So we were trying to find a spray bottle for the Benji spray.
Right.
And I was looking around Yags's house. He just moved in, and I was like, okay, instead of sitting here like ducks, let's with our thumbs up our ass, let's just look around, see what we can find.
Right.
Because I'm really big when it comes to that.
Right.
I managed to find a spray bottle, and it looked like it had water in it or bleach. My apologies. So I opened it up. I took a sniff at first, and I was like, wait, okay, so it's not bleach. what is it then? It doesn't smell like bleach. It doesn't smell like soap. It doesn't smell like anything. You know?
Right.
So I took a swig. And Abby saw me take the swig. She looked at my face. I ended up puckering up and stuff like that. She looked at my face and she goes, "Not water, is it?" And I go, I just shake my head. I go, "Mm-mm. Turns out what was in the bottle was vinegar.
Yuck.
Distilled white vinegar."
Let me guess, you never had vinegar again.
Oh no. I actually really like the taste of vinegar. Actually,
Oh, okay.
It's just I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
It was one of those moments where
Right.
it's like, okay, so what is it? And then something happens that you would never see coming.
Right. Oh my God, that's crazy. What about the worst?
Worst times is when we made bets on when Scott was going to hurt himself.
Oh God.
Dude, so we were in St. Clair, and we were getting ready to film the one scene, and I was jokingly talking to Carl. I think it was Carl, and I was like, "Yeah, you know, it'd be funny," or no, I was talking to him about my stepdad's experiences on the hayride.
Right.
Him and his buddies, they would all place bets. It was like a cabin in the woods sort of thing.
Right.
Where it's like, how do you think Bill will die? And how quickly could we call 911?
Right.
And it's like, oh, he'll set himself on fire and he'll have like third-degree burns everywhere by the time the EMTs get here.
Right.
Like, okay. I think he's going to end up hanging himself.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah, something like that. And I was talking to Carl about it, and he's like, "Yo, we should do the same thing for Scotty." Like, hey, that's not a bad idea.
I don't.
I walked around with a piece of paper and a pencil, and I was like, "All right, so this is what we're doing. We're placing wagers at the time and place that Scott will hurt himself and how he will do it." Go.
Oh my God.
And everyone started placing bets at times, place, and how you were going to do it. And you want to know what 95% of the responses were?
What?
He's going to trip over himself.
Oh my God, I had so many injuries. I got sliced open by a rusty cemetery fence. I dislocated my shoulder. Yeah, I had a couple, and I twisted my ankle. At least I didn't tear anything like Shane.
Yeah. And you know what? I also want to make this clear. Some of these injuries he's talking about, highly embellishing them. Some of them.
The dislocated shoulder actually was.
Oh, yeah.
That was the truth one.
Yeah, I think I was there for that one.
Yeah, I think that was when I took the punch by Brett when right after you and Yags were down for the fight, and it was me and then Shane was gonna tackle him. When I took a punch, I landed on the ground, and like, you know, those tree branches that like are thick and they go up in the ground, like I fell on that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that was horrible.
Yeah, I was there for that then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was one of the worst times.
Yeah. So not the Scotty underwear.
Oh no, I think that was one of the best scenes ever.
That was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, just because of the fourth wall.
That's what I was gonna say. Everybody laughed at that scene in the theater at the premiere because, and spoiler alert for those listening, if you wanna, you can scroll by, fast forward by about a minute or two. But like the scene, like it was great because everybody at the premiere laughed because, like, I'm in these underwear. On the underwear have pictures of my face all over them. And then you're like, nobody wants to see good old Geordie in all his glory, or whatever. Naked Geordie in all his glory. Not even them. And he points at the screen, at the camera, and that's indicating that the fans don't want to look at me naked.
Yeah.
Which is great. It was perfect.
And I love how like everybody knew where to come back from that too.
Yes.
Because it It's like I thought it would have been like one of those fucking Pirates of the Caribbean scene, you know, like I got a charger.
Right.
John Depp improvised that entire bit,
Right.
And the reactions of all the other characters seeing that, those are their legitimate reactions.
Yep. And that's the reason why it was their legitimate reactions is because nobody saw the underwear before the scene. I made sure of it because I wanted a legitimate laugh when they look at what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Yep, it was great. Like I think Kyle got me that as a gift for like my birthday or something, as a joke or whatever.
That's a great gag gift.
It is. It really is. It was pretty cool. Let's see. Where are we at? So, what was the most memorable moment while filming Samhain?
You know what? How's that go on? Most memorable moment.
What about the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, that was a pretty memorable moment. Yeah, but I want to get more in depth with that.
Sounds good.
You know what? I gotta say, I think it was the rap.
Oh yes.
Last day of filming, you know.
Yep.
And it was like fucking, oh god, it had to be like 11:30.
Yeah.
Almost 12 o'clock at night.
Yep.
In the middle of Centralia.
Behind the cemetery.
Cold as shit. Right? But it was our last day, and everybody got together for the group photo.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually like a very touching moment, you know.
It really was.
Yeah.
And
to know that all that hard work that we
yep.
did.
And for anybody that wants to buy the DVD, I'll get into details on when you can buy those and where and everything later. But for anybody that buys the DVD, we have a behind the scenes music video, and that picture I believe is like the last one in the video to end like the video. It's pretty cool, which is really cool. That was a very good memorable moment. It was sad, like we all became family on set, but we never disconnected.
Yeah. You know what? Kind of the same thing happened with my. So my stepfather has his hayride recorded.
Yeah.
Like him and his close buddies, they were the ones who did that.
Right.
And they would record it, burn it on a DVD, and give it to everybody who participated. Right.
Yeah.
And like the last few minutes of the hayride DVD, there's a segment called the stills.
Right.
And it's just pictures of all the work that was done to make it all happen, you know?
Yep.
And getting all the makeup and all the costumes and all that. Yeah. That's kind of like what that bonus feature reminded me of.
That's awesome.
You know?
That's awesome. So how can you describe your the relationship between Benji and Jordan's mother, Regina?
Rocky. For lack of a better word. I guess. I think the relationship is like one of those things where it's like Benji feels that Regina needs to lighten up. You know? Like you don't fucking piss on the parade.
Right. Exactly.
Like that. But and how does he get her to really lighten up? It's just with cracking pranks and jokes and just trying to make sure that she has a good time. You know?
Right.
But she's always so mad, always so mad, and it's just I feel like it's just like one of those things, you know.
Right.
Benji's trying to bring some amusement, and Regina's always there to kind of put a kibosh to it.
Exactly. So at the premiere, it was announced that Samhain is having a sequel, and it's going to be officially titled Samhain: A Festival to Die For. You down to return to the role of Benji?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. So I guess since you want to return, what way would you personally like to see Benji go as a character if you had the opportunity to write the character for the sequel?
Oh man, you know what? Here's how I could imagine my character. you know. So it's the events after the first movie. So it's about what, like 2 years, something like that.
No, I believe the way I wrote it so far is it starts out 3 months later, and then it goes like in the future, like 8 months after that, like halfway in the movie or something, or like a little bit into the movie. So it goes like 3 months, and then it'll eventually be back to Samhain the following year.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
all right. But as far as that goes, it's like for my character, it's an experience that he doesn't want to forget.
Right.
He will always remember that
Right.
for the rest of his life. Well, I wouldn't say he wouldn't want to forget it. He kind of probably does, but regardless.
Knowing Benji, probably does.
Yeah, probably. I feel like Benji matures more.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he will still, crack some jokes or maybe a few little pranks here and there, but
Right.
he's more alert.
Right.
He's more in touch.
Exactly. So I also announced that the film Killer Party is currently being worked on for our next full feature, and it's going to be outside of the Samhain sequel, of course. So Samhain will be for the most part be after Killer Party. Now Carl's going to be directing and he's writing that movie. So I'm sure that there will be other films that we're going to produce. But are you going to be auditioning for future roles with I guess with Killer Party, and even if you didn't get, say, a role or something, even help out behind the scenes?
Yes, I do intend on auditioning. As far as background roles go, I'm not too certain about.
Okay.
And it's not that I don't want to help.
Right.
But I could be like going to college or going to
Right.
like a job by then.
True.
And I really feel like I don't know.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, I know you did like one of the camera roles in Samhain. I believe it was the one when I can't say the character's name, but when one of the characters is dead, you did like a ground shot, and that's like one of the better shots in the film. So like even if you did some camera operating, that would obviously be all up to everybody, like what we see fit, because obviously you would have to agree to come back as a behind the scenes. We'd have to agree that hey, we need him as a camera operator. We need a camera operator. But I think you would be really great as on the camera.
I mean, going back to the other question, now that I had more time to think about my answer there, if I had the opportunity to work behind the scenes and like I wasn't really doing anything,
Right.
and the same thing also goes for my acting audition as well.
Right.
If I have the opportunity and I'm not doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, I would audition for it.
That'd be awesome. And I know that like one thing I'll say is that we actually just invested in new equipment too. We still have the same camera. We plan on getting a second camera and a better camera, but we don't have that yet. But we got a very good stabilizer and tripod. I forget which one it is, if it's the stabilizer or if it's the tripod. We got both, but one of them is used that when we're filming, it's able to film rolling shots that it rolls on the ground and is able to be filmed. And then it also can, I think it's the stabilizer, because it holds the camera in place, and it lets you do like walking POV shots, and like it does like running and action scenes. But it also allows you to hold it like and stabilize it and keep it still while you're holding the camera like with your hands as well, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, and then like I know one thing in Samhain is that you could hear a lot of like screeching, and that's because of the camera itself. We use the camera audio for a lot of it, because the boom mic audio, a lot of it got damaged because things were really loud, and like the audio settings were never adjusted properly, which was one of our big mistakes. So you can hear a lot of like little you can hear like the screeching, like the scratching of the zoom like lens or whatever. whatever. So we invested also, and I already got this in the mail too. We invested in an external microphone that hooks up right to the camera, so that way we can do the boom mic for shots that you can't really see the character, or for voiceovers, or for like when we want to do an outside scene, but the character is inside, but we want to film it from the opposite side of the wall. We can have the boom mic, in between where it can pick up the audio perfectly.
Yeah.
So we got some pretty.
Something that I managed to figure out. Get a pop filter.
Okay.
Pop filters actually help with wind.
Nice. Yeah, that's one thing we can invest in as well.
Get one, and you know the direction the wind is blowing. Just cover up the mic so it doesn't get bothered with the wind.
Yeah, that's a good idea as well. That's one thing that we can look into. And I know that there was something else that we were looking into as well. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but we did invest in it. We actually have a budget now for our films. We have a budget for Killer Party. Me and Carl worked on that. He spent the weekend at my place. I believe it was not this past week, not this weekend, but like last weekend. So we came up with a budget for Killer Party, which is pretty cool. So we know what we can't exceed, and in terms of what we want to spend, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So one thing we have is that we're gonna be doing. We haven't announced it, but we're doing a fan film. We haven't announced it publicly, and I really can't go into details yet about it because we don't want to like really get it out there yet. But you are the main star as the killer of that short film, and we start filming it on October 18th. So without spoiling the film, without spoiling the character you're playing or any of the characters in the movie, and without spoiling the plot. Are you excited about the short film, and what are you looking forward to the most about it?
Oh man, that's a tough one. So, yes, I am extremely excited, and also very humbled to be playing this character.
Yeah.
I can't really say much about the film. I know that, and I'll say this. I know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
And it's going to be a completely new experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I am... it's going to be something different.
Yeah.
But not a bad different.
Right.
Man. And I feel like many people might like this different, and many people might not.
Right. It depends because we don't own the copyright. We own the copyright of the script. We don't own the copyright of the character of the killer or the title of the film, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I can't say much more than that, obviously, but we don't own the copyright. But we're able to do it because we're not going to make a profit off of it. It's going straight to YouTube, and we're not like making any profits off of this movie, of the short. So it would really depend on what it can get a lot of good reviews or a lot of bad, but either way, it's going to be fun to make. There's a lot of really graphic, gory kills. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Amanda's going to be directing that. Carl's director of photography. Your stepdad Bill is going to be doing the SFX. I also screen wrote it, and I'm executive producer. And Carl's also going to be an executive producer on it. Shane, I believe, is producing it as well. So it's got a lot of people that you've seen in Samhain are going to be in it as well. But there's also a couple of people that aren't in Samhain that are main stars, which is exciting. So the last question I got for you, so I know you're a big horror movie buff. So which horror flick was the one to get you into the horror genre as a fan?
Oh man, yeah, tough one because I was brought into the horror genre
Right.
when I first moved in with my stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the one that I saw that I really liked the most was probably either Halloween,
Right.
or Friday the 13th.
Nice.
Or Nightmare on Elm Street. I think that was also a very big one that got me into this genre.
Right.
So I really watch. I wasn't too heavy into it at first. In fact, I was actually really scared of it at first.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, because I was super young at the time, and I wasn't really used to seeing stuff like this in somebody's house, you know.
Right.
And so it took me a little bit to really get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down the one day, and I think Bill was watching. He was watching something on Chiller. I think it was either The Twilight Zone,
Okay.
Monsters, or Freddy's Nightmares.
Okay.
If anybody does that show, you get bonus points. But I think it was one of those things that just kind of inched me a little bit forward.
Right.
And then I watched one of the movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was one of the three that I just said.
Right.
So it was Michael, Jason, and Freddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. I know Friday the 13th was the one I first started watching. I believe it was part 7. But Halloween is my all-time favorite at this point now, especially the original John Carpenter. I've always loved Halloween.
John Carpenter's was amazing. I mean, it's the original. Like, you always have to respect it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But to be completely honest...
I know you're a Rob Zombie fan, right?
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah. I like Rob Zombie.
I knew you would.
I like it because it's different.
Yeah.
It's a different take on it.
Yeah, and I like Rob Zombie's first one because I do like the backstory of Michael Myers. A lot of people hate that. A lot of people absolutely hate...
I even like the second one. The second one was great, too.
Right. I like the first better than the second one. The second, I can let's put it this way. I can watch the Friday the 13th reboot. I can watch the 2 Rob Zombies Halloweens, but A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, I cannot stomach that one.
Yeah, sorry. I can't.
I can't do it without Robert Englund. I just can't.
Yeah, that's true.
I understand where they come from with it, but I can't.
Yo, I found out something funny.
Yeah?
The guy who played as Freddy in that movie,
Yeah?
he also played as the Terror in the reboot of The Tick
Oh, wow.
on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I heard he's a nice guy, and he did put a good spin on his version of Freddy. It's just, it isn't Freddy for me.
Yeah.
Just even the makeup.
It's just not Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think,
And
yep.
it's also the same reason why my stepdad doesn't like it, you know?
Yep, exactly. Well, I thank you, Tyler, for your time.
Of course.
Yep, so before I end this call, I do want to do a little promotion. So for those that want to see Samhain, it is in select theaters, primarily in Schuylkill County. We were supposed to be in a roughly 19 theaters, and I think like 16 of them were going to be in Pennsylvania. But because of COVID, unfortunately, we are in 2 theaters and 5 days. So we got the shit end of the stick, but I want to let everybody know that we are going to be at the Majestic Theater in Pottsville on October 16th and 17th, as well as the 30th and 31st. Some of the cast and crew will be at. There will be cast and crew at every event. I will be at the one on the 16th. Tyler will be on the one at the 17th. Also on the 16th, I will be selling T-shirts after the movie ends for those that want to. Purchase anything, they are able to do that, and if they're able to make it. We'll also be, so far, at the Hazleton Cinema Draft House in Hazleton on October 19th. That one may not happen yet, so stay tuned to our Facebook fan page. I'll give you that in a little bit. Because of them having a restaurant in the theater, it would cost them more to run the place with 50% than it would to be open and show movies. So they wouldn't really be making anything. They'd be losing in the end. So stay tuned. We might not be able to appear there. We will also be this Saturday, September 26th. We will be at the I forget where it's located. Stay tuned to our Facebook fan page. I believe it's on Fireman's Road though. It's in Frackville, Pennsylvania. It is for a fall festival, and we will be doing a we will be vendors there, and we're going to be selling DVDs. Yes, you heard it right. We will be selling DVDs, $10 each, of Samhain, the movie on disc 1, and disc 2 will be all the special features. And it's about maybe 146 minutes total content. So we'll be selling that for $10 as well as T-shirts. And we'll be at Creature Feature, and that will be on October 17th. And we'll be selling, again, DVDs and T-shirts as well there. And that'll be, like I said, October 17th. Tune into our Facebook. Give us a like on www.facebook.com/Gravestone Films. You'll be able to see all the dates, times, and which cast and crew will be appearing at each of the events. And we hope to see everybody there. Also, we will be on Amazon Prime come October 23rd is the current plan. I'm just waiting for our captions to get done. We outsourced those to somebody else because I got sick of doing them because they kept getting rejected by Amazon. And DVDs will also be available on Amazon. You can purchase them on there, and that will also be on October 23rd. So you can get Samhain. Literally, you can watch it in time and during spooky season for Halloween. So again, thank you, Tyler, for your time. Do you have anything to add?
Not really.
Awesome.
I know things are kind of crazy right now. But,
Yeah, it really is.
don't lose the faith, man.
Exactly. We'll all get it through it together. Just be nice to everybody. It's not that hard to be nice to somebody. Just show.
Seriously,
Yep.
just be kind to one another.
Exactly.
Just don't be afraid to do the right thing.
Exactly. It's not that hard to get along with everybody, and I mean, I never saw the point of being racist, homophobic, sexist, ageist, or loving your fellow brother and sister and neighbor. Like, it's really not that hard. Like, everybody is just human. Just treat everybody equal, and we'll get through this pandemic together. And if you can't go to the theater, we completely understand because first of all, a lot of people that listen to this probably don't live in Schuylkill County. But if you you can get the DVD. Like, if you want to social distance and want to be safe, we understand. We're not going to hold anything against anybody. There's a lot of people that wanted to come to the premiere. They couldn't come to the premiere because of the pandemic. We were not mad. We completely understood. We really did. There's no hard feelings at all. We just want you to be safe. Even if I'm young, I'm healthy, I could survive this pandemic. My dad was battling stage 4 brain cancer, might not be able to survive it if I were to get something and end up giving it to him. So we get if you're afraid of it all and you want to social distance and be if you can't do it because you have a loved one that's sick and you don't want to risk it. We understand. Just be safe, be healthy, and be happy, and treat everybody with respect, love, and care. And again, Tyler, thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate it.
Of course, man.
All right. You have a good rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Be kind and safe, everybody.
Yep. Sounds good. Bye, bud.
Bye.
Bye.